Hi guys, it's Tammy with Cheers to Creativity. And I need to change the window on my front door, and I thought I would show you a little bit of it. So I don't know if you saw the picture before, but it was all decked out for Valentine's Day. What I did was I sprayed it with just a glass cleaner, and then I used a razor blade and I scraped it off. And to show you how easy it is, you can do it on this last little corner here. Squirted it with some glass cleaner, and then it just scrapes right off. I'm going to be using just regular acrylic paint. I painted some decor art. I'm not doing this to be permanent. I'm doing this on our front window, and I change it seasonally. After I get all the paint off from the first one, go ahead and clean it, make sure it's clean. And then one last trip before I paint any glass is I take rubbing alcohol and just wipe it. It just gets rid of any last little bit of grease from fingerprints and whatnot. And it just takes a second to dry. All right. So I was thinking about spring, but I wasn't quite ready for spring. Thinking about possibly doing St. Patrick's Day, but that seemed a little short. So I've started this bunny, and I think I'm going to do him on my front door. And I'm going to cheat a little. I'm going to lift up the window, and I'm just going to set it on top of there. And that way I can kind of draw his shape, and it still gives me room to do some other stuff around him. So let's get started. I'm going to be using DecoArt Slate Gray. Start my bunny. It's just a big bottle, and it was easier to put in a squirt bottle than to keep it in a jar. If you don't have a gray, of course, you can just mix white and black to come up with gray. I'm going to fill him in rather quickly first. I think it's fun having something on the front door like this. We don't have a lot of room between the screen door and the regular door, like for a wreath. So this has been kind of fun to kind of take place of my wreath, I guess. For Valentine's Day, it was all, it was the hearts and buffalo plaid, and it really coordinated with our foyer. I haven't decorated our foyer for spring or St. Patty's Day yet. So I think the bunny will work. When you're painting on glass, you don't want to go over it too much because you'll just lift the paint. So I'm just trying to smooth my strokes out a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a blow dryer. Make sure my bunny's the right shape here. I'll take my cheek piece out. That way too I can see how much coverage I have. And that's not going to be quite enough. You can see that or not. Because I'm going to want it to be pretty opaque. See if I pull you guys up. If you pop on, say hi. Love to know that you are watching. And love to know what you think about having a front window painted for the seasons. I'm going to make him a little fuzzy around the edges, so I'm not too worried about spots like around here that he got a little fuzzy. But I do have a couple of spots that I think I went out of the lines, and that's where it's great to have a Q-tip handy, or just hang on to that razor blade. And if I need to make a little bit of a change, I can just do it with the razor blade, or a little Q-tip would work too. Like I said, because I'm working with acrylic paint, I want this to be pretty dry before I go back and give it a second coat. And even though I have not finished my first bunny, I have an idea of what I want to do. I think I'm going to do the same thing on this guy. Make him a little silly and have him wear some glasses. Come back up here. I think here I'm going to start just kind of pulling up a little bit of, make him fuzzy, a little fuzzy around the edge. I'll be sure to take a completely finished picture once it's up on the door. That won't happen until Hubs gets home tonight. I think he's going to be cute. What are you thinking of painting for spring? Are you thinking of flowers already? Some Easter motif coming your way? I do pick it up every once in a while just to make sure that I'm fairly opaque. He's looking pretty good. Oops, remove the blow dryer. And while he's still a little wet, I'm going to try to lighten up some of his areas with a little bit of just straight white, just to make his muzzle a little lighter. And I'm really using light touches here because I don't want to pick up the paint. I just want to lighten it up a little bit. Lighten up his belly a little bit. I'm going to come back with that straight gray, and I'm going to come back now and just make him a little fuzzy all the way around his face and around his body. Got the snippets this morning. Go around his face up here. Okay. I'm going to pick up a little more of the white. I'm going to lighten up his inside of his ear up here, because the bunny's going to have pink ears. I'm going to grab a paper towel and just wipe off that brush. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of black and darken a little bit of my gray. And I did not wash my brush, I just wiped it off with a paper towel, and I'm just going to mix a little black and with a little gray to make a slightly darker gray. I'm wiping most of it off, but I'm going to come back around here and kind of touch in here and there to give him a little bit of shading around his outside edge. Early in the morning to be taking on a painting project for me. I'm usually just at my computer by this time. I'm going to go up around his ears. It's not going to be very realistic, but that's okay. A little more whimsical. I'm going to lift him up after I lay down this color just to see what we're looking at for coverage. wipe that brush off. Just gonna see him. Looking pretty good for what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, I think I'm gonna need to switch to a little bit of a smaller brush, and I'm gonna pick up just some black. I need a little bigger brush than that. Nice to be able to walk over and grab my brushes. So I'm just picking up a little black. And this bunny's gonna have eyes on the side of his face, so I'm gonna kind of come out, a little bit of a slight angle, come down, and then come back by his cheek. Try to stay out of my wet paint. Trying to be about the same. So on the angle, slight angle out, down, and then come back by his cheek. I might have to adjust those a little bit. Yeah, this guy looks a little off, but we'll fix him. Oops, wrong color paint. I've just removed my brush. Okay, let's try that again. Just the black, go straight down. I think I curved him too much. I did. So we're going to move him up a little bit too. Just kind of eyeballing that. Could be a little higher up here, I think. He'll be good. I'm going to come in and with the white first, I'm going to go ahead and give him a nose. And then while that is still wet, I'm going to pick up a pink and blush his nose a little bit. And mixing it with a little bit of white so it's not super pink. Might need to have a little more pink than that. But I'm picking it up, so that means I'm working too much with the wet paint, so I need to let it dry for a second. I'd let this dry while I was messing with his eyes, so I should be able to go in and add some pink here without picking up the paint. I'm using pretty light touches when I'm going back over the paint that isn't completely dry yet. If I start to pick up paint, I move on to another area and I come back to it. Let me know if you have any questions about painting on glass. Or anything else for that matter. Trying to find you guys on my iPad so I can see what's going on. Picking up a little more pink. In my ear. I've got a couple of spots I'm going to have to come in and fix, but that's okay. Let's see, I'm going to bring in some more of this gray and just kind of blend these colors a little bit, very lightly. Go back with the gray and a little bit of white. A little more white. My puppies are barking upstairs. Must be someone at the door. Really light touches just to give it a little more texture. All right, I'm going to hit this with a blow dryer real quick so I can hit. I can come back and give my eyes a second coat of the black. Just make sure they're good and solid. And I'm going to pick him up again just to take a quick peek to see if I've got good coverage pretty much everywhere. He's looking pretty good. See, I managed to get some gray paint here that I didn't want. Okay, my fingernail took that off. Our porch is pretty covered, and so this does not get direct rain or snow on it. But I am painting on the side of the window that faces out into the elements. Okay, we need a little bit of white, just a touch. Just grab this small brush. Let's see, let's give him a little dot here, a little dot here, maybe a tiny little dash down here. See if I can go back and fill in my pink little nose, the pink and white. And come down with a little bit of a mouth for him. I'm just going to do that with black. Make a line down. And a little bit of a part of a triangle. And a little more paint. I keep going into my gray paint. I want black. So I'm going to outline him really kind of sketchily. Hey, looks like a rabbit. I love it. But what I wanted to do that I thought would be really fun with him is give him some sunglasses, or glasses. I don't know if they'll be sunglasses. And I'm just going to figure out where his nose is, right there. And that's where the nose piece would go. I'm going to let my eyes dry first, or I'm going to smear them. Anyway, while they're drying, I'm going to take one of the corners. Let's see which one I can see on the, do this one. And I'm going to put a couple flowers in there. And I've been working a lot with just the wildflowers, and I think those will work great for this. So I'm going to use some yellow. And I'm going to pick up a clean brush. I'm just going to make a messy circle. I'll do a couple over here. Try to make different numbers of flowers. So do the two up here, the yellow. They'll need another coat too, so this way I can work on different things at different times. We'll let our yellow dry and come back and give it a second coat. While the yellow is drying, I think we'll go in with a couple pink flowers too. As we got pink in the bunny, let's bring the pink into the flowers. Same thing, I'm just picking up just kind of a messy brush. 1, 2, 3. And if my colors blend a little bit because I didn't clean my brush out very well, that's okay too. This could be Easter eggs too. Okay, we've got pink and yellow flowers. We will come back and add another color after we do our glasses. So I'm going to line it up. This is an essential stencil. This is actually one of ours last year from the Stencil of the Month Club. If you haven't checked it out, do so. It's really great getting these stencils that are exclusive to the Stencil of the Month Club. Each month, come directly to you. And if you use the code CHEERS, you get $5 off your first month of Stencil of the Month. Or if you're buying regular stencils, you can get 10% off your whole order. I'm not sure what's going to work best for stenciling on this, so I'm going to grab a couple things. I grabbed a makeup sponge. I think that's going to be my best bet. But I also grabbed one of these little ponky sponges. So I need a clean plate or a different plate. And some black. This is just reusing a palette. Make sure I have a paper towel for my offloading. So I'm dabbing into it. I'm taking a good amount off, and I even dab it on my paper towel. Make sure I hold this down really well. And I'm just going to offloading a bit there. I'm probably applying this a little thicker than I normally would, just because I don't want to have to give it too many coats. It would have been very advantageous of me to tape this down because I do need to hit it with a blow dryer. Even though I'm using pretty dry paint, I still don't want to go over it while it's wet because it'll just lift right up. I don't know that our flowers are ready for their second coat either, but we'll try. Yeah, I think we're going to need to let those dry a little bit more before we can give them their second coat too. So all I'm going to do is pick up paint, and that's not the desired effect. We really want to have some solid coverage there. All right, let's see if it works. We'll go ahead and give it a quick second coat. Lift him up, and he's got glasses. I think he's pretty darn cute. There you go. What do you think? I'm going to go ahead and finish him up and finish the flowers, and I'll be sure to post a picture of it when it's all up in the front window or front door. But it was kind of fun to do. I kind of like him. I think that's what I'm going to do with my canvas too, and I'll share that with you once it's finished. I seem to have a lot of unfinished projects this morning. Have a great, great Thursday. I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye.